Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe it's silver and gold's time to shine. And when I say that, I do of course mean silver and gold related stock plays like mining companies as well. So some of you may be thinking it's weird that I'm bullish on silver and gold, considering we cover so many revolutionary sectors here on the channel. I'm the crypto guy, etc., etc. But that doesn't mean I don't like legacy plays. I think there's a lot of legacy plays with a lot of potential out there, and every time I see a sector with potential, I want to share it with you guys, and I'm excited to do so today. So let's dive into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and we'll dive into each one individually. This one's going to be pretty straight to the point, guys. We'll quickly just go over why I'm bullish on gold personally, and silver, of course, and then we'll hop straight into the charts in the back and talk price action. So again, good old write-up edit I made for you guys. Silver and gold, why precious metals, why now, followed by a quick write-up, a quick summary of why I'm personally bullish on precious metals like silver and gold. So once again, we will read over this, establish the fundamental grounds for our analysis, and then we'll jump into trading view in the back. Got some crazy price targets I want to share with you guys. So we're actually going to kick it off with both with the daily candles for both gold and silver on the charts. We're really focusing on the macro here, you guys. These two plays, as opposed to many of the plays in the market right now that we've been talking about, are definitely longer term plays in my opinion. These are definitely more macro, more zoom out trades for me personally, at least. And we will cover the short term, but I do want to kick it off in the long term because that's more important, once again, in my personal opinion. So we will kick it off with gold. Gold should be a little shorter of an analysis than silver, and in all honesty, I'm more bullish on silver, so I'm probably going to ramble about it just a little bit more. A little more excitement on the charts there, once again, in my eyes. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about that. Before we do dive into anything at all, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like after I float my face. Or before, hopefully you guys liked it already. Please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description if you want the following: a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio. I do update that every single trading day. With every update, I also send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts, and this is all during market hours. These are all real-time updates from me during the morning, or during the morning for me at least, during market hours across the US. And again, it's real-time thoughts from me. If you want that real-time analysis, I rationalize every trade I make, give you guys some charts in the newsletter as well. So if you guys are interested in that, want to know all the gold and silver mining stock plays I have, as well as literally every other play in the book, because again, we cover a lot around here and I'm excited about a lot. So if you're interested in that, first link down in the description. Greatly appreciate it if you check it out, but if not, no worries at all. So let's hop back here again, you guys. This one's gonna be quick. I'm stoked to talk some price action with you, and of course why I'm bullish on silver and gold. So silver and gold, why precious metals, why now? As you guys know, I've been a huge fan of inflation hedge assets for a while now. In all honesty, I believe Bitcoin is the king of inflation hedges, but that doesn't mean I can't be bullish on silver and gold as well. Ever since the government started printing trillions of dollars, it's been very obvious to me that safe haven assets like silver and gold would perform well. So far, that's proven to be true. I still believe that this is only the beginning though. With unlimited QE, or quantitative easing, at the disposal of the Federal Reserve, the upside for inflation hedges becomes unlimited as well. The more dollars they print, the more devalued they become, and the more people will want to keep their wealth safe in hard money assets like God's money, gold, and silver. So, the words of the great rich dad Robert Kiyosaki, he calls gold and silver God's money. So I agree. I 100% agree. You guys, we are in a world where trillions of dollars in not only the US but across the globe, and fiat currencies are being printed to counter what's going on in the world. And when that happens, the fiat currency that's being printed ultimately becomes devalued. So I don't have the DXY up right now, but trust me, you guys, the dollar has been on a solid decline ever since we started printing money, which of course makes sense. You guys, supply and demand 101. So that is why I'm bullish on silver and gold from a fundamental perspective. I've given the same rant for Bitcoin, why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. And again, although I do believe Bitcoin is the king of inflation hedges, it's gold 2.0. I like Bitcoin a lot more than gold personally. I still like gold, and I'm still bullish on gold. I'm not. I should say I am biased towards one. Obviously, Bitcoin being that one. But again, still bullish on gold. I still think it serves a purpose. I still think there's room for that legacy play in precious metals, especially silver. Once again, you guys, I'm want to say this right off the bat. I'm significantly more bullish myself on silver than gold at this moment in time. So again, we'll close it out with silver, but let's kick it off with gold on the charts. Got some crazy price targets to talk to you guys. Okay, so again, we're on the long-term time horizon right now. On the daily charts, really zoomed out. Okay. And since gold's high back in August, so it's been a long time, you guys. It's been almost half a year that gold has been seeing a decline since gold reached its all-time high back in August. Okay, and again, silver looks the same. So they've both been on a steady, slight decline, not a crazy decline, holding fairly steady, but they're definitely not at their all-time highs anymore. Okay, so again, zooming out, got some crazy price targets here. We'll talk about the one that I think is highly likely to happen right now, and then the one that I think is pretty likely to happen, the one I think it has potential to happen, to unfold over the coming months, and then my most optimistic scenario, which in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this as well, again, over the coming months, because I do want to focus on the long term right now. So let's focus. Actually, you know what? We'll zoom in a little bit, start with the short term. So we will stay on the daily candles though, just because it keeps it simple. Gold is so since gold started correcting back in August, we did create this nice descending channel. We talk about ascending channels on this channel so much, but gold was in a descending channel. A few points of contact here, very clean descending channel in all honesty. It did break above that at the beginning of this year, so that's very bullish. It's already broken it. It gives me reason to believe we'll probably break it again, and when it did that, it set a higher line, a higher bar, a higher trend line for that line of resistance on this this medium term downtrend. It is still in an upterm long trend 100 or long term uptrend 100%, but it is in this short to medium term downtrend again, beginning back in August. All right. So this did set a higher point of reference for this line of resistance on the top side of this descending channel, which gives me reason to believe, again, just because the fundamentals are so strong right now, I'm fundamentally very bullish on gold and silver for all the reasons we just talked about. So I think it definitely has fundamentals behind it. Technically, though, I do think it's very likely we come up to ultimately test almost the 2K region, 1950, if we do come up to test this once again over the coming days, which I think is very possible. If we break above that region, I think it's very likely we'd come up to test the top side of this megaphone pattern, which we've been talking about. Last time we talked about gold, we did actually just start printing this megaphone pattern, so it's been a little bit. So again, excited to talk about this, but this megaphone pattern, megaphone because it looks like that. I'm sure you guys know exactly why. This pattern, this cyan line right here and this red line right here are creating that megaphone looking pattern, and I believe it's very likely we come up to test the top of that megaphone pattern. I would personally bet on that. That would set a new all-time high for gold. Say we hit it by early February. If that happens, if we do hit it early February, or if we do hit it late February, whenever it happens to happen, we would set a new all-time high for gold, and that's very bullish considering we already saw this crazy run up. So before we talk about those huge the higher time frames, we do have to zoom out here, okay, and just prove to you guys that gold is 100% on an uptrend. Gold is like the ideal, is like the most solid, sound, proven the test of time inflation hedge. So as the dollar, it once again has begun being devalued starting in March. Liquidity crisis, dollar was high here, but then everything, all equities started to rally. That's why you see this rally starting in not only the stock market, but at gold, silver, Bitcoin, etc., bouncing from these March lows and seeing a rally up. Gold really kicking off that rally because it's a direct inflation hedge, okay? So talking about this next line of resistance right here, this is a very long-term trend line that started all the way back in June of 2019. So you can see this used as its previous previous line of resistance on this very, very long-term overall uptrend. All right, March, I'm gonna disregard March just because that was kind of a black swan, so I'm gonna like pretend let's cut off like right there. Okay, so this has been used. This was a very strong line of resistance on this uptrend dating from June all the way to September, so a few months there uses line of uptrend. We did see that come directly into play for gold's recent high just earlier in August, which makes me believe that this trend line is 100% in play. Not 100%, I want to say like 99% in play. Can't say anything's 100% for sure, but I think it's very likely that that trend line once again comes into play, and that we do set a new all-time high in gold at $2,400 over the coming months. I think that's very, very likely, you guys. Okay, so that is I think that's a realistic price target. Once again, with a medium term time horizon, by March, by maybe early April, depending on once again when we hit it. I think it's very likely we test this top trend line, bringing us to my primary price target around $2,400 to $2,500 for gold spot price. That's important to say as well. We're not looking at any silver and gold stocks today. Again, maybe I'll cover some mining companies, some of my favorite mining companies in the future. Shout out Portfolio Group, just talked about some of those this morning. But again, maybe we'll cover those in the future. The main thing is gold and silver are looking good, and if gold and silver do well, of course the mining companies are likely to do well as well. So top line, the most bullish, the most optimistic the most optimistic price target for sure is using this shorter term. So this is a long-term line of resistance that once again did prove itself to be in play in my eyes. But this is a more short term. So since these March lows, using the first high from this rally in gold to this next high set in August, of course, did create this more short medium term uptrend line of resistance on this overall medium term uptrend. Okay, so if we do hit that, say by the end of March, that would take us to a $2,740 gold. Again, because this is a steep trend line, you guys, the further you extend this out, it all depends on when it chooses to hit it. So say we extend this out further, if it hits it at the beginning of May, that would take us to 2,850. All right, so again, you guys, it does depend on when gold decides to test this trend line, but I do ultimately think if we break all-time highs, if we come down here, maybe we come here bounced out, we'll definitely see some resistance around here. I'm very confident about that. Maybe see a correction down to this line over here, but then ultimately rally to here to test this more medium-term trend line on this line of resistance on the medium-term uptrend, maybe by the end of the year or something, because the government's just going to keep printing money. We got the blue wave coming. We got Janet Yellen as the Treasury Secretary. These are all very, very good. This is all very, very good news, not only for gold, silver, Bitcoin, but for the entire markets as a whole. Okay, so good news there, you guys. Let's move on to silver. Again, the play that I'm personally more bullish on at this moment in time, and we'll close it out. Okay. So silver, we'll kick it off with the short term. So I'll show you guys silver's significantly more extreme. So really zooming out here. Don't need to zoom out that much. Okay, so right there, you guys, just to give you guys a brief idea. Again, we'll zoom in right after this and then come back out and talk about this overall uptrend. You know, you guys, while we're here, just cut the zooming in and zooming out. Let's just talk about this most optimistic top line, this most optimistic price target for silver. Once again, using that same short to medium term. You guys, I'm sorry I'm stumbling so much of the short, medium, long-term stuff. It's kind of hard to say because it's kind of rare we look at stuff this zoomed out, but I'm going to call this a medium-term uptrend, okay? So it's not super long-term, it's not short-term, but this medium-term uptrend, once again, kicking off from this first high after the liquidity crisis we saw back in March. So here, silver was at $14, reaching a low of almost $10. So crazy. Silver's pullback was crazy, but its run-up was crazy. Its run-up was even more insane. I don't know if you guys have been following me for that long, but we were on this silver. A lot of gains were made on silver during this huge move up from July to August, okay? But that aside, again, talk price targets here. First high set back at the end of March. Next high set back in August 6th. Exact same high as gold. Gold and silver will always hold some sort of correlation because they're both the top two precious metals. Obviously going to be correlated. So this next high at almost $30. Again, silver has since corrected pretty significantly. And then using these two touch points for this ultimate top line of resistance on this medium term uptrend, we would get to a $60 silver. Say we hit it in May. Say we hit it at the end of April. That would take us to a $59 silver. Say we hit it earlier. Say we hit it early March. That would take us to a $52 silver. What is very, very important to remember, that is like the single aspect that makes me significantly more bullish on silver and gold, is that silver is significantly below its all-time high. What some of you guys may have been thinking, what is that huge thick cyan line right there? This is silver's previous all-time high set back in let's really go back here, 2011. Okay, so silver's previous high was in 2011 at $50. So it's crazy to think that, you guys, a scarce asset like silver, and I'm not going to go super into the intricacies of why silver, like there's more gold above ground than silver right now, and silver is actually more scarce in my opinion from the research I've done. You guys can go dig into that for yourself, but there's a lot of reasons aside from price action that makes me bullish on silver, but this price action is looking pretty amazing. Silver is significant. Is silver to just match its previous all-time high? And keep in mind, you guys, gold just reached its all-time high earlier this year. Silver to match its all-time high. considering it's at $25 at the time of recording, would have to 2x from here. So 100% gain just to match the levels of its previous high back way back in 2011 at $50. Okay, so I think with all the macroeconomic things going on right now, again, all the money printing, just fiat currency, the money printer going burr. I think it's so easy I think it will be so easy personally. Not financial advice. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I think it's highly, highly likely that we at least come up to test silver's all-time high by the end of this year at $50. Okay, so at least $50 likely. If we break its all-time high, I think it's very likely we test this highly optimistic, but pretty realistic, in my honest opinion, trend line on this medium-term uptrend that would take us to a $60+ silver if we hit it. Hey, on my birthday, May 19th is my birthday. So $61 on my B-day. Let's hope for that. Let's hope we see that. As always, guys, know my money is on what I'm saying, and yeah, I'm excited to see if this plays out. So I forgot we didn't even talk the short term yet. Sorry, we started with gold that way. So let's talk these more conservative, really kicking it off on a high note there. But let's talk these more conservative price targets before we close this out. Okay, so silver on the short term, you guys, if you were following me, you would know that. Big shout out to the newsletter group. I took a fat L at the beginning of this year because silver looks so good. So silver played out pretty much a textbook bull flag. You see this huge parabolic move up, creating the flagpole, followed by a descending triangle, creating a very long, strong bull flag, in my opinion. We broke out of this bull flag, so we did successfully break out, coming from $24 from the point of breakout to a high of almost $28. So that's a pretty solid percentage gain. But we were in this beautiful ascending channel for a while. I thought it was so likely we're going to see a breakout because the longer an ascending channel lasts, the more likely it is that we see a breakout, especially if you're in an overall uptrend, which silver was. All the stars were aligning, but boom, black swan. Silver tanked like 10% in a single day, the most I've ever seen silver tank in my history of trading silver, which is a few years now, and that sucks. But just yesterday, we broke above this downtrend. We officially broke above this downtrend, and we are now officially back in a short-term uptrend. The line of resistance that comes into play now is obviously because we set this high back on the 6th of January, and from this high set back in August to create this medium-term downtrend. I think it's very likely that now that we've broken out of the short-term downtrend, we will create a short-term uptrend to test this medium-term downtrend. The line of resistance on this medium-term downtrend, that would take us to a $27.50 silver from, again, $25.50. It's a pretty significant, pretty decent little percentage gain. So I think we'll see that. We will need to set a higher high though for me to get bullish. We are seeing like on the short-term rally from this ascending channel, we have technically set a higher low here. So I do think it's likely, in all honesty, that we come up to break this line of resistance on the medium-term uptrend, break out, see a new high, and then once we see that is when I think this green line will come into play. Okay, so more short to medium term, this is the most likely trend line in my opinion. So this trend line is following silver's previous rally before it went absolutely parabolic in mid-July. Okay, so from that same touch point after the March lows, March 25th, first touch point, you can see it was used as a very, very significant line of resistance. Once again, all the way up until July when it broke out. And once it broke this line of resistance, that's when we saw it go pretty much parabolic over the span of a couple of weeks. Since it's corrected, of course, we have seen some gains eliminated. Did come back down all the way to a low of about $20, $21, I should say. So again, I'm just seeing higher highs, higher lows here. I think this trend line is very likely to come into play. You can see it used here as silver bounced from that huge crash it had right here, from $27 all the way down to $21. So significant pullback here after silver's crazy rally. You see this trend line come into play after that, used kind of as a dead cat bounce. But after that, it just went sideways. And to bring up the good old two-wave, the OG two-wave theory once again, you guys, you see the first wave, bubbles up a little bit, hype, FOMO. You see that bubble pop, you see capitulation, you see strength, and then you see that second wave. So I think silver's second wave will come. I think it's highly, highly likely that we see silver see a second wave. And my conservative, still optimistic, but in all honesty, conservative price target for silver over the coming months is $33. All right, so we will call it there, you guys. This was a fun one. I really like talking about gold and silver, in all honesty. It's kind of refreshing talking about some of these legacy plays. So please let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this, if you are invested in gold and silver, what your favorite stocks in the gold and silver sector are. Again, there are a lot of exciting mining companies out there right now that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. So maybe we will talk about those in the future. Please let me know what your favorite mining company is. Again, what your favorite gold silver related stock play is down below. below. Always love talking shop with you guys. Always love learning from you guys, and we'll call it there. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.